Quarterback Jayden Maiava has first-round physical tools and traits, but his tape makes him a projected day 2 NFL draft pick.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I'm Damian Parson. That's Keith Sanchez, and today's episode is brought to you by Odoo. Guys, it's simple. Great organizations win because operations matter, and that's why you should get Odoo. Try for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. And on today's episode, we're breaking down Jayden Maiava, the USC quarterback, with 6'4", 6'5", 225, 30 pounds. We're going to talk about what he brings to the table. Later on in the show, we're going to explain the grade, give you the concerns. We're going to kick it off with the pros for USC quarterback Jayden Maiava. And Keith, this is a young man that we talked about heading into this class because he was eligible for the 2026 NFL draft, but he decided to go back for one more year. And, you know, last season for Jayden Maiava, completed 65.8% of his passes. He threw for 3,711 yards with 30 total touchdowns. I believe he had 24 passing, I think 6 rushing touchdowns last season. 6'4", 230-pound quarterback, Keith, for those USC Trojans and Lane Kiffin over there in SoCal. What were some of the things that stood out to you that you really liked from his tape?
Yeah, to me, he's an easy, natural thrower of the football. And what I mean by that is the ball, it comes off his hand easy, right? Like there doesn't look like there's a lot of motion. I think there's parts of it that's a good thing and a bad thing. But the good thing is when you're looking at it, just a flick of the wrist and the ball appears to just jump out of his hand, right? And even looking at his deep ball, the effort that it appears that he throws with the deep ball doesn't match the actual velocity and how the ball still continues to travel, right? Like the ball, until it arrives at the receiver, it appears as it just keeps going, right? Like it has a good trajectory on it, good RPMs on it. So I thought that I was like, man, this guy's a natural passer. He's a natural thrower of football. Whatever his mechanics are, just naturally gifted at throwing the football. So I thought that was the number one thing. And I thought that also in saying that there were times where there was really good touch accuracy, ball placement on deep shots, and then also on some middle of the field throws. So those things are really what stood out to me when I watched Jayden. I'm like, okay, as far as playing a quarterback, yeah, this guy can just throw it. And he understands how to naturally throw the football.
Yeah, no, I agree with that wholeheartedly, Keith. I think for me, with 6'4", 230, the mobility I like with him. This is a guy that can throw, and he throws the ball from the pocket and on the move, right? So you're talking about sprint outs and different things like that. I think some pro style concepts and short yardage situation, goal line, red zone. You get that sprint out right, and you got a couple of routes over there. You got to get the ball out quickly. He's got that arm talent, like you said, Keith. It definitely. Easy is probably the perfect way to put it. Like it doesn't look like he put much effort into throws. The ball just pops off his hand. Like just an easy gas, man. Easy velocity, easy power behind the arm. I was watching the TCU game, which was game was up and down for him. He had a far hash sideline throw, and I was just like, well, that was pretty easy for him. Like he just dropped back foot hit, he sees it and he rips it. And I was like, he was even a touch late. I was like, you know what I mean? Just from like his footwork, I was like, man, if he gets this ball out even on time a little bit earlier, like the receiver just catches the ball with no problem. But he beat the corner in it because I was looking at it because he was a little bit late. I was like, oh man, this might be a pick six. And the corner wanted to jump it, he just couldn't get to it. And I was like, okay, so that's arm talent. Like that's some good strength there. So I like that about him. But that mobility to be able to extend plays, use his legs. Is he a guy that you're expecting to run 15 times a game? No, he wants to win from the pocket. But then you get that plus level athleticism. Like, you know what? Like, what? Especially to put in context.
Do you have an athletic comp for him, DP? Like in doesn't have to be a direct Jackson Dart. Okay.
Jackson Dart. And I think for those who are who've never seen Maiava but watch a lot more NFL, you've probably seen Jackson Dart play as a rookie. That creativity, that athleticism, I think it's on that type of threshold where, yeah, you may not be the Lamar Jacksons, the Malik Willises, the Anthony Richardsons of the world, but you're more than functional, and you're more than a threat as a runner and a scrambler, and just being able to create for yourself. Keith, I think in the quick game, I think he's in the quick game thrower. Like if he's one of those quarterbacks, we talked about with Marcel Reed yesterday, right? Changing the picture. Defensively, you have to confuse him. Because if that first read is open, he's hitting it.
Yeah,
like
he's taking it. Yep.
If he sees if you're staying in, if you show cover 2, and he's like, okay, this looks like cover 2. I know where I can go against this coverage. And you stay in cover 2, he's going right to where he knows he can get to. That quick game, the snappy release, the ball gets out quick, and he processes that information quickly. You got to change the picture and make him hold the ball, make him come off that first read, because if not, he's going to literally chip his way right down the field and get his team into the red zone. And now you got to defend with your backs against the wall. And then again, talking about the size, he's 6'4", 230. That's really good size for the NFL, man. Mm-hmm. 6'4" quarterback, 230 pounds. And he's played a decent amount of football. He started not just at USC, I believe he was at UNLV before that and everything like that. So this is a guy who's going to pass that quota, that threshold of starts, Keith. He's going to pass that. So I think that's also going to be a nice check mark in his positive book for scouts and GMs, because they're looking for that now, right? Even though, as we continue to say, that's not the end all be all. Yes, you want guys to be experienced, but it doesn't always work out that way, right? Like, so I think for him, like, that's going to be something that teams really like. Like, man, we got multiple years of tape to watch his growth and the numbers and the evolution of Jayden Maiava. This is a talented quarterback, man.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talent there. To, like you said, to be unlocked, right? And when you compare the size, you compare the arm talent. I agree with you with the mobility part, and I don't know if it was because of the number and the school, probably was, right? But you can't help but think of Sam Darnold. But I thought of that offense though, right? Because of the bootlegs and things like that, I can see him operating that at a high level, right? Like there is a potential Shanahan McVay offense, some OC that we know is going to elevate from one of those trees this year, right?
It's bound to happen.
Yeah, and take that and then be able to take what he does and be able to run with it and say, hey, arm talent, mobility, check mark, we can take that and operate with that. So I think that's what Jayden Maiava provides as a quarterback, right? As a passer, as a high-level passer, naturally gifted and naturally skilled guy. But EP, let's do this, man. Let's flip the coin, right? Let's talk about the concerns with Jayden Maiava, right? There may be a reason why he decided to go back, and then everything was not always operating at a high level, especially against high-level competition. So let's just discuss the concerns and talk about that coming up next.
Throughout the NHL Finals, every shift matters. Every moment is intense, and everything comes down to execution when the pressure is at its highest. And just like athletes must be ready to perform when the puck drops, a lot of guys want that same sense of readiness and confidence in their own lives too. That's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette offers modern-based, performance-focused treatments designed to help you be ready when it matters. Their top option, Rougiette Ready, is a fast-acting, clinically formulated treatment that comes in a simple mint that dissolves under your tongue. It's designed for convenience with fast absorption and effects that can begin in 15 minutes and may last up to 36 hours. They also offer Go Long, which is formulated to support both performance and control for longer lasting needs. It's all about helping guys feel prepared, confident, and in control. The reality is most people don't want complicated routines. They want something that fits into real life and works without overthinking it. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnNHL and get 15% off your ED treatment. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL for 15% off. Rougiette, performance medicine for men. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of different systems that were never designed to work together. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales, and somehow none of them talk to each other. That's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing software. The best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. It's about having someone and everyone working toward the same goal. And that's true in sports just like it is in business. And look at what the Los Angeles Rams just did this offseason. They revamped their secondary, and then they went and got Myles Garrett. They know their offense is legit, but they wanted to make their defense championship worthy. Great organizations win because operations matter. That's why you should get Odoo. Try it for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. Before we break down the concerns for USC quarterback Jayden Maiava, get your daily Locked On NFL Draft fix completely ad-free by joining the Everydayer Club today. Start your 7-day free trial right now and get closer to your favorite NFL draft analysts, myself and Keith, without the interruptions. Click the link in the show notes to go to lockedonnfldraft.supercast.com to claim your free trial today. Concerns, Keith, the things that we want to see Jayden Maiava work on and get better at. What were some of the things that stood out to you when you were watching this film?
Yeah, obviously the interceptions, right? And I discussed him playing in high-level moments. It didn't fare great all the time, right?
Yeah.
Michigan, he had a pretty efficient game. I think he was close to like 80% completion percentage. But Notre Dame, he was 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Oregon was, I think, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. TCU, I think they played TCU, and I think that was the bowl game.
Game.
1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, right? It just, DP, there were moments where everything didn't look clean, right? And unfortunately, and it's tough, especially for guys like quarterbacks, right? That when you play at these historic programs, but they potentially don't have the talent to match up with the name brand anymore, it's really hard to gauge, right? Because if you see a USC versus an Illinois, you're like, okay, USC should blow them out. And it's like, why? Yeah. Reggie Bush isn't there anymore, right? Like they don't have Reggie Bush. But for our era, we, a lot of surface level fans, they look at it from that perspective, like, oh, this should be overwhelmingly in a way a USC win, right? Just because USC is the more dominant program. But yeah, that was of the yesteryear, right? Like that was a long time ago. And yeah, hey, they have a couple wide receiver prospects, but how does the O-line and D-line look, right? Like that's the question marks about it. So that's what I kind of battled and struggled with. Like, hey, is he losing these matchups because, like against Notre Dame, if Notre Dame is the flat out better football team and they match up better with all of these wide receiver prospects and guys are just not getting open, or is it some decision making? I thought in the Notre Dame game, there was some decision making and ball placement that was very concerning. Like, hey, what's going on? But also, I didn't know if that was a result of also him getting beat up a lot. But I'll say this too: the part that he could control is the stepping into throws. There were plenty of times I thought that he either stood flat-footed and was all arm, or he threw off his back foot because he didn't follow through with it. And in those high-level games, right, when you have sticky coverage, that's when those RPMs and that velocity matters a lot. And I think you see Notre Dame, I think it was an end breaker he threw. I don't know if it was to Jacoby Lane or not. I can't remember. It was an end breaker. And the cornerback jumped it, right? He cut underneath it, jumped it, and started running the other way with it because he had the football. So I that part has to get fixed up. And the part about that, DP, that concerns me the most is that I don't want to tie it into a toughness thing, but from everything that I know with quarterbacks and everything that I've heard other NFL quarterbacks discuss, stepping into throws and saying, you know what, I'm about to get blown up, but I got to make this throw. That is a toughness thing. That is do you want it bad enough or not? So that gave me a lot of cause for pause in certain situations, DP.
No, 100%. I'm with you because as you were talking about it, that was something that I wrote down. I was like, man, like we talked about his mechanics. I'm like, the ability to just throw from any platform. He doesn't even have. Sometimes he got the arm that he don't have to invoke his feet and step in the throws. But then those bad decisions or those turnover plays, you didn't do that. He had one he threw two against TCU. One of the ones he threw against TCU, he had the tight end or a receiver up the seam, and he threw it. It was just a bad decision. He threw it up like inside. I think he felt pressure was about to get to him, and he kind of leaned back, sidearmed it, threw it inside, and the DB was on the inside hip of the receiver. So it's not like he had inside leverage. No, the DB was inside. The safety just basically worked down in like a robber, and the ball was low. So he ended up going to the ground and taking the interception. And I was just like, what was the idea there, Jayden? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got some of those throws where it's just like, it's head scratching. Like, why did you make that decision? And like you said, that kind of quarterbacks that tend to rely on that fadeaway jumper. Yeah, no, I don't need that from you. I need you to step in and because you think back to Mendoza, right? I think Mendoza, Keith, is going to be, for me, especially when I'm looking at these quarterbacks, a scouting mechanism and a scouting, standpoint. Like, hey, I watched Mendoza stand 10 toes in the pocket, step up, throw the ball, and take a rib shot. And he knew he was going to take that rib shot.
I wasn't in on Mendoza. Probably until the Ohio State game, right? When he got his clock clean and then he got up. And I said, you know what, Mendoza, you got it. I'm in now. I'll be in. It took me the entire season. I'll stop fighting it. Hey. I'm in now. But those type of things matter, right? My time with Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow was a son of a gun because he was tough, right?
That bowl game.
Yeah, and that was before the 2019 season. That was the last game of the 2018 season. That was the game
that made me love Joe Burrow, Keith. When he took that hit, I'll never forget it. I was like, that's a dog. The way he got up and the mentality he had after that, I said, oh yeah, they got him one. They got them one.
Yeah, like and you listen to the Tom Brady's of the world speak, right? Mm-hmm. And just, especially being a pocket passer, right? Because you're not going to avoid those. Like, they know exactly where they are, where you are. You don't really have the athletic ability to really avoid it. I know there's pocket manipulation, but I'm talking about usually you're in the pocket.
Athleticism,
right? So, they're coming at you. So that's one thing with Jayden, like I said, in the decision making, I'm going to pay close attention to, like I said, and it forces you, and this is the unfortunate part of being in this transfer portal era, right? It's that rosters turn over so quickly, is that you almost have to watch the team around them now, right? And understand who each and every player is, because it can be offensive linemen, they could be first rounders, or they could be seventh rounders, right? Some people that they got from the Mountain West Conference or anything like that, right? You just, because the roster turns over. So that's what I said when I was watching those games, the Notre Dames of the world, the Michigans of the world. It was difficult to tell, okay, is this a lack of talent, or is this Jayden a lack of talent, which is forcing him to make bad decisions, or is this Jayden just making bad decisions amongst chaos, right? And now it's finally a chaotic situation, and you're not playing the Purdue's of the world and the Missouri States and Utah States or whoever like that. So that's how I looked at it with Jayden.
Yeah, I agree with that, Keith, and I think that's going to be a big talking point for him. And it was something like you talked about yesterday with like Marcel Reed, was kind of from the mental game standpoint. For me, when I was watching Jayden, decision making and accuracy, working past his first read. So I gave him praise in the beginning of the show. Hey, that quick game, if that first read is there, he's going to get to it. He's going to hit it. It's efficient. I watch him struggle to make the right decision past the first read sometimes. So it's like So it was crazy because, like, remember during the season, we was like, man, like, what's going on with Jacoby Lane and like Mekhi Lemons dominating this offense. And it's not that Mekhi Lemons was definitely the better receiver in 2025. Like, his stamp, it was all over that offense. Lane, not Lane Kiffin. What's the coach name in USC?
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley dialed it up for Mekhi Lemons as well. But there were times where Maiava only had his eyes on the first read, and he kept his eyes on the first read. So then when you forced him off of that, like, he had to play against TCU where he wanted to get to the quick game. I think it was like an OTB route or a quick hitch on the outside. And he looked at it. It was covered. He came back to his next read, and he threw the ball like the running back. I think it was a running back out of the backfield. And the ball, like, he didn't even let the running back turn around and look for the ball. The ball hit him in the back of the head. And I was like, Jayden, like, what is going on? Like, off of the first read, he makes some very concerning decisions. And then the accuracy and stuff, just he's a guy that you can tell he wants to win in the quick game. And it's like the longer he has to hold the ball, it's like the more concerned he gets just in the pocket. So I want to see him kind of like I said, not challenging his toughness, but it's like maybe it's just a mental thing. It's like, hey, you gotta get it together and kind of calm your mind down. I think we talked about with like Lenore Sellers and you talking about Brendan Sorsby. Yeah, there's sometimes I feel like it feels like his mind is like it's like somebody's playing music.
It goes
chaotic. All the way up to the top. Yeah,
it goes chaotic. I was going to get to that too. And I was actually going to use the Brendan Sorsby comp. Like that was the difference, right? Brendan in chaos, there's still a calmness to him. And Jayden, you can see when it goes left, you can see it on his face, right? And you know that like in situations where everybody be like, hey, what's wrong with you, man? Like you're wearing your emotions on your sleeves, right? He wears the chaos through his play. Like you can, because the play goes chaotic, right? Like, and you want him to kind of slow it down and make better decisions. And even in those games, I think because against Notre Dame, he threw a beautiful pass to Jacoby Lane, I believe. And they went up in the game, but then you followed it up with a couple bad decisions. So it's like you can be in these games, right? You just have to minimize the negative plays. Honestly, just pull them all the way out to where, hey, throw the ball out of bounds. Like those little things like that. You know, a neutral play is as good as a good play sometimes when a play goes bad, and you don't have to try to find a solution for every single play, because sometimes if the offensive line not doing the job, there's just nothing you can do about that, and you have to know that and not try to force it. Because one of the throws he threw, I think it was Notre Dame again. It was a Caleb Williams-esque, and I'm not saying the good version. I'm saying the bad version of he rolled out.
That gunslinger.
There's a D lineman in his face, and I don't know if he's seen color, but he just threw the ball down the field. Just threw it 30, 40 yards.
I know what play you're talking about.
The receiver caught it. It was a heck of a play, but I kind of tilted my head to the side a little bit. I'm like, okay, how many times are we gonna get away with that one?
We can't live off those, Jayden. We can't live off those. No, Keith, I think in with the turnovers, I think the one area I want to see him get better in terms of targeting the field is the middle of the field. He had 4 interceptions. He had, like, if you're talking about from 10 to 20 yards, right, in the middle of the field, he had a touchdown, the interception ratio of 1 touchdown to 4 interceptions. Thrown in the middle of the field, especially you're 6'4", like you have the size, you have the arm talent. It's a lot that goes to that decision making, right? One of those interceptions was the throw against TCU that I talked about. Like, it's in the middle of the field. Like, why are you throwing? Like, if your guy has outside leverage, why don't you throw the ball over the left shoulder, like away from the safety, away from the corner, and it's either incomplete or he makes the catch. Instead, you throw it inside and you throw it into a compromising position because the receiver was never going to be able to make a play on that ball. He couldn't even flop his way to a flag because the ref would have been like, well, this guy gets to own his position. Like, he's already inside. Just because you threw it inside, he's like, he falls, doesn't make it a flag. So I want to see him get better throwing the ball in the middle of the field, because, again, when you have that collection of size, physical ability, and arm strength and everything like that, driving the ball in the middle of the field is not a problem for you. It's the decision making of what throws to make in the middle of the field. That's going to really be it's going to impact how you're able to live and die in the NFL. And we know that throwing in the middle of the field is a key proponent right now in the NFL. It's a key component. Like, if you're going to live in the NFL, you're going to be a long-term starter, you got to throw the ball in the middle of the field. There's only a few quarterbacks that were able to get away with that. Russell Wilson was one of them, but that's because he was also probably one of the all-time best deep ball throwers in NFL history. Was like, you know what? I might not hit that 10-yard square in all the time, but that 60-yard bomb, I'm going to hit those. That slot fade, I'm going to hit that at a high rate, even though it's a low percentage throw. I just want to see Jayden be able to really just, like, his mental game and things like that, just being consistent. And like I said, a lot of it showed up against equal to better competition. When you're facing those teams that are on your level, you have to be the difference maker for your team where you raise up. Because like you talked about with Sorsby, the difference with Sorsby was Sorsby initiated that natural playmaking ability. Sorsby's like, you know what? I'm a playmaker. I'm athletic. I'm 6'3". I'm 230. I'm an athlete. I can do what I need to do, right? I want Jayden to embrace that part too, Keith. I don't feel like he embraces the athleticism that he has and the playmaking ability enough. That should get out of jail free card like in Monopoly. Hey, some things aren't right. Use your legs, create some opportunities, or just create for yourself. I think he does start doing that. It can negate some of the things defenses that did to them last year in 2025.
Yep, I agree. DP, let's knock this out, man. Let's talk draft grade, right? Let's go through the draft grades. What grade do we have on Jayden Maiava heading into the 2026 college football season? Let's discuss that coming up next.
Workplace chaos can show up fast. The problem is that finding the right candidate can take a lot more time than most businesses can afford. That's where Indeed Sponsored Jobs comes in. Indeed Sponsored Jobs help you reach candidates who actually fit what you're looking for based on skills, experience, and location. Finding the right person can make all the difference. Whether it's building a business or building a winning team, one great addition can have a ripple effect on everyone around them. When you find someone who brings the right skills, attitude, and experience, it makes the entire group better. Guys, it's very, very simple. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Do you need to hire? Well, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Again, if you need to hire, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network in America. Is all because of you, and also because of you is why we can celebrate 10 years of being in business here at the Locked On Podcast Network. Guys, it's not possible without our everydayers for every single channel, for every show. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Keith, let's talk about explaining the grade. We talk about the highs, the lows, the peaks, the valleys. Where did you come to grasp when it comes down to a grade for Jayden Maiava heading into this next football season?
Yeah, I battled with this one, DP, and I battled with this one because I generally like USC, right? Like the Reggie Bush thing I said early on, right? It just kind of stuck, right?
I always said SoCal and Miami were your two homes away from homes.
There we go, DP. And so I'm gonna go with, but I had to stay true to myself, man. I went in the third round. I gave him a third round grade. I could take him at the top of the third. The pros, we talked about the natural arm talent, skills, things like that. The toughness in the pocket, throwing off of the back foot, mechanically, I don't know, right? In the sense of the fact of, is that a for sure thing that you can fix? Is, there were certain things that I need to know more of him, right, to be able to improve that. So third round grade, but I think there's a lot obviously there for him to be able to elevate and then take a next step, because he is 6'4", he is 230 pounds. There's an element of mobility to him. He is a naturally skilled and gifted thrower, but that throwing off the back foot, the decision-making portion of it, the chaos part of it, that's usually things that I don't love in a quarterback when you don't do them well, right? When chaos ensues, because chaos is coming. That's the thing, right? I think we look at quarterbacks in a vacuum of in positive situations, right? And that's why we always say judging these quarterbacks that come from these high-flying programs, usually difficult to judge them, right? Because they're usually in great situations all the time. But when you get quarterbacks, you're able to see them. But when they get to the NFL, it's chaos. It's chaos 50% of the time. And so assuming that that's going to happen because the talent is a lot more even, I need to see quarterbacks operate in chaos and feel comfortable with it, right? Like the thing that gave me some comfortability with Bryce Young, despite the size, was that he handled chaos well, right? Like in the sense of the fact of he's not Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. He just doesn't have the physical tools for that. But you can tell he felt like, okay, that's the question y'all have for me. Boom, here's the answer to the test, right? And is able to kind of figure that part out. So I went third round grade for Jayden Maiava, but obviously this isn't a throwaway. This is a third round. Hey, improve these couple things. You can be discussed in the second round, back into the first round, because there's talent and there's tools there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Keith. I had the same exact grade, third round. He's got first round talent. The tape was just third roundish, but it's like it's third roundish with another year to go. So it's like, you make that those changes, those tweaks, and you play a little bit more stronger and tougher in the pocket, right? Because again, you're 230 pounds. Like, hey, just embrace the physicality of the game, take that hit and throw that touchdown, right? Against that simulated pressure. Just do it. And it was like, I promise you, it's going to breed more positive results for you than throwing off your back foot and not throwing from a flat-footed stance like whatever would. That's going to throw more interceptions and more bad decisions than anything. So I want to see him just kind of get better with that. Like I said, just work on the post first read stuff, because that's going to be the big thing, Keith. Like, you get in the NFL, hey, you might call that first route for Justin Jefferson, but he's playing against Patrick Surtain. So it's like, PS2 is one of the best in the game, dog. They might neutralize they're going to neutralize each other at some point. Justin Jefferson's going to neutralize his superpowers. He's going to neutralize Justin Jefferson's superpowers. Okay, if that first read isn't open, get to that second read and then make an accurate, well-placed throw. Make the right read, the right decision. He's got to start doing those things for me as well. But his talent, his physical like size and God-given a bit, like, that's first-round stuff all day long. Scouts love that. Scouts will look at this kid like, man, if you just tweak some things, yeah, you could be a top 15 pick, man. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying you might not, because as you always say, as you've been saying the past couple of years, narratives, right? Yeah. So we're going to see how people feel about this quarterback class. If a lot of these guys ball out, Arch Manning got the name. So it's like, who's going to be bold enough to be like, man, Arch Manning, my QB3, I got Mensa, I got Maiava, I got this guy, whatever. We're going to see who's bold enough to do it, but that's going to be the big thing for him, Keith. It's like, even if you're not QB1, it don't matter. You can be a first-round quarterback in this next class because you are physically God-given ability, blessed with that. You just got to let the mental game and decision-making catch up to that. If he does it, Keith, this is a guy definitely will be in the first-round conversation. Like, you can't teach what he has physically, but you got to get better overall. And I think he can. The air raid system doesn't always help everything. You know what I mean? It muddies up some evaluations for some of these QBs and their reads, but talented kid, very talented young man, and we're hoping the best for him. I want to see him go and ball out and kill it this year.
Yep, I agree. But DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at The Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. On tomorrow's show, we're going to talk about the best player in the NFL draft class and in college football, Jeremiah Smith. Is he Julio Jones 2.0? Is he the best wide receiver prospect since Jamar Chase? We'll talk about that on tomorrow's show. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.